I first met our next speaker, Peter Pinkney, when he stood as a No to EU, Yes to Democracy candidate back in 2009. And I was actually his election agent. I cracked a rib as well during that campaign. But Peter is the president of the RMT, which is, of course, a militant trade union. And one of the things I particularly like is the motto that they've got, which is emblazoned on the T-shirts: when provoked, if provoked, we'll strike. And Peter is playing an important role in the fight against the Tory trade union bill. A warm welcome to Peter Pinkney.
Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, comrades. I'm really pleased to be here, even though I'd probably rather be up the road at the Emirates watching Spurs, because I'm a Spurs supporter. So it shows you how much I value being here. I feel almost that I'll probably get into trouble when I get back in the office for this, with the political wing of the RMT being here. Which I will reiterate what I said at the TUSC conference a few weeks ago. As far as the RMT is concerned, nothing has changed. We will still... It doesn't matter what other left-wing groups are going around saying, we will still be supporting TUSC, and unless there's an SGM, which is unlikely, and I know the General Secretary Mick Cash is against that as well, nothing would be done till next year, and we've seen nothing to give us any reason to do so. And for those who worry about it, because when I spoke at the TUSC conference a few weeks ago, I was questioned 3 times about if I could give that guarantee. I am the president of the RMT. I am in charge of the rule book. I am in charge of the Constitution. And I'm telling you now, for the last time, nothing has changed. I'm not going to win the award for stating the bleeding obvious that we live in difficult times, but also interesting times, and dare I say it, hopeful times. I've been around long enough to see some pretty right-wing Tory governments, but I've never, ever seen anything like this lot. And I've said this several times, think this lot is worse than Thatcher, because the difference is, Thatcher didn't give a monkeys about class. Anybody could make it under her system. Don't get me wrong, she was a nasty, evil woman. But this lot, if you aren't part of their class, if you aren't Oxford educated, Eton, Harrow, etc., you've got no chance. And they absolutely hate us. And one of the things that they've done straight away is bringing this anti-trade union bill. And I want to talk about that because I spoke again the other day at the lobby at Parliament, all well and good. I can imagine all them Tory MPs looking out the window at government saying, oh yes, there's some trade unions just demonstrating again. So what? And that's the point, comrades, so what? This year, I again had the happy, unhappy honour to move the RMT resolution calling this time for a generalised strike. And again, there was objections to it from the General Council. And I've said this before and I'll say this again. I'd be more worried if the General Council was supporting the RMT in what we do. But the problem they had was what generalised means. Well, what do you think? It means a bloody general strike. And that's what we have to demand. I don't care whether it's a series of strikes across the country or one all-out strike. But marches, demos, etc. are all well and good. But at the end of the day, you will march on a Saturday, everybody feels great, Monday you're back at work, you might as well have wrote a letter to the Times newspaper for the amount of good it does in the long run. And let's not be mistaken, 76% of this country didn't vote for this government. I've no truck with this government. And I stood on a picket line a few months ago at Brixton for 2 days, for about 7 or 8 hours a day. 4 people in the 2 days come up and give us abuse. And they were a bit out of it on whatever they were smoking. hundreds of people came and told us that they were behind us and they wanted us to succeed because they knew what it was about. So when I get up at the TUC and move a resolution for a generalised strike, and there's all these worries about what generalised means or what it doesn't mean, what in reality is happening is the leadership of the TUC, apart from a few exceptions, ourselves, PCS, Prison Officers Union, Fire Brigade Union, etc., will pay lip service to it, but do nothing about it. And I'm quite happy to name these people. Paul Kenny, Len McCluskey. It doesn't bother me, and Dave Prentice, because every time I go to a General Council meeting when it was on it, they're against it. They are against it. And what we've got to think about, comrades, is what the reality of this TUC will be. Now, our union has managed in the past year or so to get what we would need, because we need, as a public service, 50% turnout and 40% of that voting yes, which in reality is an 80% yes vote. And we've managed that. We managed that on LUL, CalMac, Network Rail, First Great Western, and various other smaller companies. So it is achievable. But what this government want to do is outlaw striking. And how do you tell teachers that they can't fight for the children's education? Because this government, and I'll say it and I mean it from the heart, do not want the working class educated. They do not want us to have pensions. They do not want us to have any rights whatsoever but 0 hours contracts so they can make even more money on the sweat of our labourers. We have to do something, comrades. We have to look to Greece, and I know it's all gone to shit with Syriza, but we have to look how it came together, and we have to look at Podemos. Revolutions, comrades, are not started from the top. They're started from ordinary people like yourselves. Every revolution. And what I'm going to finish with, comrades, is yet again call on you all to mobilise, to go back to your workplaces, to go back to your unions, your trades councils, and demand a general strike now. Comrades, solidarity.
Thank you, Peter. That was fantastic.